Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to AddisDialogue with me, Shifarao Lago. Today on the show, we'll be talking about identity and its diverse aspects and implications, including mixed identity versus single identity. In order to break it down for us, I'm joined by Dr. Tewodros Zewdu, who did his PhD in mixed identity at the York University. So he's going to break it down for us so that we'll have a better understanding of what exactly identity means. Do stay with us. All right. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us on identity, which is not that familiar, is something that concerns each and everybody, I think. So thanks a lot for making the time to talk.
Thanks for having me. Yes, indeed, it's a very important topic, especially for Ethiopia, due to the presence of millions and millions of mixed ethnic people.
Can we begin our discussion with the very definition of mixed identity? What exactly does it mean?
Thank you. When I say mixed identity, it means that one part of your branch is from ethnic X, the other branch is from ethnic Y. So the combination of two or more ethnic groups within a family unit, that makes it mixed identity. But that's on at the component level. So when it comes to how can one tell or feel about his mixedness, then I use the sense of belonging as a lens to gaze into one's identity. So meaning that sense of belonging to oneself first. So who do you belong to? Do you belong to yourself? And then belonging to others. In this case, others, the family unit. Who's your family unit? Belonging to a family unit, and then belonging to extended family units, and then to others. In this case, the groups are large, and then the community. So a sense of belonging is the way one can identify oneself as a mixed identity, or also as a single identity. The most important concept in my research is relatedness. How does one relate to the nation state? How does one relate to oneself? How does one relate to the family unit? How does one relate to the community at large? And from that angle, millions and millions of mixed ethnic people do provide this bridgeness, connectedness with others. And so when, the fact that when one says, I am an Ethiopian, meaning when one says I'm an Ethiopian, that person is declaring that I am connected with other Ethiopians. So you have this imagined community from a distance, but the mixed ethnic people makes this imagined community concrete reality. So from abstract concept, you will have this concrete reality being provided by mixed ethnic people. So from that angle, Ethiopia has benefited a lot from mixed ethnic people in terms of bringing peace and harmony, in terms of relating the various ethnic groups with each other. So peace and security is very important. Peace and security can only flourish when one feels a sense of belonging with others. So the mixed ethnic people provide that sense. So I belong to them, they belong to me. So that sense of understanding, that sense of oneness, that sense of community is very important to have a nation state, for the health of a nation state, and then mixed ethnic people contributes to that well-being.
So, Dr. Tewodros, drawing on experience from other countries, what are some of the major challenges people with mixed identity face?
The data clearly shows that there was a mixture along the ethnic lines, but that mixture was ignored, completely ignored. In the case of the Soviet Union, in fact, the Soviet Union was actively encouraging various ethnic groups to intermingle, to intermarry. But they failed to provide a language, a labeling of that mixture. Where in the case of Ethiopia, I'm using Wahid. But I recently read an article, a researcher conducted, while the Soviet Union was actively encouraging the mixedness, but they failed to provide the term, very important term. I believe that they probably don't want to encourage a sense of ethnic identity. Therefore, they completely don't want to say mixed ethnic identity, because their intention was to use labor as a unit of analysis. Workers of the world unite. Therefore, they don't want to see the workers being divided between ethnic groups. So other countries experience, while they're encouraging people to intermingle, intermarry, they failed to provide the term. In the case of Ethiopia, that shows clearly when one examines the Ethiopian census data, there is no clearly defined term to describe us. They have what they call Ethiopian ethnic groups from A to Z, and then they have what they call others. They forgot that they are othering us, making us look like we belong to somewhere else. So they put us into others category. So we can, that's like the big challenge for us, because we're not being recognized as who we are. So term is very important. When we come to the world, when a child enters into the world, that child given a name to identify that child, and then later on that child will be given an ethnic background, so that child can relate to ethnic X or Y or to mixed ethnic identity. But that very fact was ignored when it comes to us. But the biggest of all challenges is here. Ethiopian Constitution, Article 34(3) says that the family unit is the natural and fundamental unit of society, is entitled protection by society and the state. Yet, when they come to do counting, when they come to official acknowledgement using a census data, if that person is from a mixed ethnic background, he will be asked to fragment himself or herself, meaning that your family unit will be disintegrated. While stating that the family unit is the natural and fundamental unit of society, yet they come to our house to divide us and then to fragment our family unit. So that's the biggest challenge. We want the government to recognize our family unit as a mixed family unit. Therefore, they need to come to us using a term, a level, In my case, I'm using wahid. The popular term is qayyid, but I'm using wahid. So they need to clearly state that in their document whenever they visit a mixed ethnic family unit. So that's our biggest challenge. The other challenges also here was acknowledged by themselves, acknowledged by the government, by the crafter of the Constitution. Here it says, Article 35(3), rights of women. They're saying that the historical legacy of inequality and discrimination suffered by women in Ethiopia taken into account. They're claiming that they really understand the pain and agony of women, the historical pain and agony of women. Yet they wrote a constitution by ignoring the mother side of the branch. The mother side of the branch. This is an ultimate betrayal. You know, you write an article saying that we understand your pain and agony, yet you craft a constitution to fragment women, to alienate women or a mother, to separate a mother from her family unit, to separate a mother from her husband, to separate a mother from her offsprings. I mean, that's the most outrageous inequality ever. So those two articles must acknowledge the presence of mixed ethnic people, and then the Constitution is the biggest challenge of all for us as a mixed ethnic person.
What is the remedy that you suggest to these issues?
Okay, the remedy, one can begin by examining the Constitution, officially acknowledging the presence of mixed ethnic people in Ethiopia, allowing mixed ethnic person to self-identify itself, the family unit. So self-identification is important. You know, when I self-identify myself, then I see who I relate to. So the remedy can begin by formal apology and then formal acknowledgement. They need to see Ethiopia as a place, as a home, not only for a mixed ethnic, not only for a single ethnic people group only, for a mixed ethnic people as well. So they need to rewrite the Constitution. If you know, now we have this national dialogue going. I took a part in that national dialogue. The most popular question or argument was that we need to re-examine the Constitution from multiple angles. Various people provided argument from multiple angles, but if this Constitution, then we will see at the conclusion of the national dialogue. But we need to revise the Constitution using mixed ethnic people as a lens. So we need to rewrite it in a way that acknowledges, includes mixed ethnic people as a group who have been living in Ethiopia for centuries, who have been providing this relatedness to as a means, as a sense of unity. Yes, sense of unity, yes. And dignity. So, yeah.
So, talking about the national dialogue, how should the national dialogue incorporate the notion of mixed identity?
The national dialogue should come up. I submitted a paper to them at the headquarters. I've also took an active role with them. So the national dialogue should include us by formally inviting us, by giving us media time, by giving us town hall meeting time, by giving us a platform to express our concern, and that part not been included so far. They're reaching out, using single ethnic group as an instrument. So we need to see inclusiveness. This is a very important question, especially while Ethiopia is conducting this national dialogue. So we want the mixed ethnic people part of the dialogue. We were excluded previously, but we want to take a part in it. And we live here in Ethiopia. We're not from other place, so don't othering us like what the Constitution did to us. So thanks for giving us this platform, saying that you relate to us, to Ethiopia. You are an Ethiopian. We see you as who you are. That's the most important feeling that I received from this dialogue.
As you know, this issue of mixed identity is a global one. So, as a researcher of mixed identity, what's your message to everyone concerned in this regard across the entire world? People that are suffering from, ethnic ambiguity and things like that. What is your message to that?
My message to them is acknowledge yourself. You need to start with oneself. One must start with oneself. I can use an example of current squabble between Trump and Kamala Harris. Trump is saying that she while she's claiming she belongs to the mixed ethnic heritage, he said, "Oh, I didn't know she was black." He said, because previously presented herself as an Indian heritage. Presented herself as a person from a single ethnic background, popularly. Now she's presenting herself as a mixed ethnic person. So my message to them is, don't use it as to shortcut into something. Just use it as a dignified self, as a dignified person. Just acknowledge, proclaim it as your background. In every situation. It should not be used as a means to reach to an end. Mixed ethnicity is an end in and of itself. So far, people are using it as a means to get to somewhere else. The case of Obama is clearly shown. While he has a white mother and a black father, he was identified and acknowledged as a black president. But he came from a mixed ethnic background, and then that mixedness was used during campaign time. While he was campaigning to win the White House. But after assuming power, all of a sudden he became a black president and presented as such. So in that case, it's making mixed ethnic heritage as a means to something end. It's not the way to bring dignity to mixed ethnic group. So dignity can only be obtained when one acknowledge oneself in every aspect of one's life, and then one can only sees it as an end, not as a means to an end, something else. In this case, to win a White House. In the case of Obama or in the case of Kamala Harris. In the case of Trump, he doesn't want her to win the White House, so he's like labeling her as disingenuous and stuff like that. Other world, my message to them is acknowledge yourself, acknowledge. Because relatedness, I started with the definition of mixed identity. One must relate first with oneself. If I don't relate with myself, then there is no sense of talking about or discussing about dignity. Dignity begins when one acknowledges oneself as such. So this is an issue of we're asking for dignity, you know. So one must acknowledge oneself first. Then one can go out and then ask other people to see that person as that person sees itself. So acknowledgement, self-acknowledgement is very important I mean, my message to the world is self-acknowledgement is the first step in order to bring dignity to one's heritage.
Yes. Dr. Tewodros Zewdu, researcher of mixed identities, thank you so much for coming here to EBC's compound and giving us this wonderful explanation when it comes to the different aspects of identity. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to the end of today's program. Thank you as well for having been with us so far. Until I see you next time with another program, it's goodbye from me, Shifa Raulak.